Hey Sairaj, thank you so much for joining us on Thinking Out Loud podcast today. We are super stoked to have you here. Just a little introduction before we start with our conversation. So everyone knows Sairaj from Wakao Foods. He's the founder of Wakao Foods, and his brand and he himself featured in the first season of Shark Tank 1. And through then, we've seen Wakao grow as a brand over the year or over the years, if I may say so. And in today's episode, we are going to hear it from Sairaj himself as to how the journey has been. Again, thank you, Sairaj, for taking out time and hoping for a lovely conversation.
Thanks, Samarth. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me over.
Awesome. So, Sairaj, just to start with, I think everyone knows this, but for the larger user, if we could have a little background, a little story of yours in terms of how things started.
So, I'll go back and I'll tell you in brief my journey for the last, say, around 10 years. So, I'm a lawyer by education. I studied law. I
Correct.
practiced criminal law for a year. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so that Kida was always there in me. So I practiced for a year and I realized that this is not something I want to do for the rest of my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that this was not something. So I quit law. I joined my family business. I lasted for 6 months. Then I started my first venture, and I did three other ventures before I started Wakao. So Wakao is my fourth venture, and it is a lockdown baby, the pandemic baby. The ideation happened somewhere in February of 2020,
Hmm.
and within 10 months we were out on shelves. So it was from ideation to product. It took us around 10 months to come up with this whole thing. Uh, we are India's first jackfruit company. We are
Hmm.
very clear about that. We make products from jackfruit. I believe 80% of India has eaten jackfruit sometime in their life in some form or the other, maybe chips, as a pulp, or as a sabzi, or as a meat replacement. You've had it somewhere in your life. So my whole thing was the whole eureka moment, if you want to say, it came across when I read this article which said jackfruit, the superfood of the world. So that made me think, because the whole world is now saying jackfruit is a superfood, and we've been ignoring it all our lives. I thought everyone was a fool, including me. And as I went deeper into it and researched more, I realized it's not jackfruit, it's a jackpot. And
Correct.
it's something that we have to make the most of. That's where this started. So I'm a first generation entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship runs in my blood. So I founded this. Not too many people thought it was the right thing to do. But somewhere you need to take that. It's a punt, you take it somewhere, your gut feeling which says that this is an opportunity, don't lose it. Try it out. And what's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, you'll have to say that TK didn't work, try doing something else. I did it with three ventures. So I'm not someone who's scared of rolling back if need be. We did this, we launched within 8 months. That Shark Tank opportunity came across, and it pretty well changed our life after that. So yeah, so this is the short background to where I come from and where I am right now.
Got it. So, just a follow-up question to that, right? Like you said, this was your fourth venture, correct? So the three ventures that you had before this were they in any sense related to Wakao or the F&B industry, or they were something different and this was something different?
Absolutely not related. So my first venture that we started was with some. So I'll give you a brief. So whenever I started something, I always have this idea of doing something really big. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but मेरे अंदर वो हमेशा होता है कि I need to do something which will be path breaking, which
Correct.
will add great value to people, to the whole world. So I always wanted to do a product or a service, whatever product, and take it to the world.
Hmm.
Made in India, made in Goa thing, which will go to the world. अभी वो
Correct.
क्या था वो मालूम नहीं था. So I used to always tinker with different things. So the first thing that I started with was solars. I
Hmm.
thought solar was an emerging industry, really great. I'll have my own brand of solars which will go all across the world. That was the idea. So I started it. I realized that there were a lot of other things that were there in it, and I thought this was not something I would like to scale. Then came lighting. So LED lights. LED was a big thing then, around 8, 9 years ago. People
Right.
were LEDs, wow, new technology, cheap milta hai. 1 year, China was giving it at a very low cost. So I thought, मैं इंडिया का दूसरा मैं इंडिया का फिलिप्स बनाऊंगा, that
Hmm.
kind of thing. So that's what started. Then I realized I was too dependent on the manufacturers. It's not reliable. नाम खराब हो रहा था. Product में guarantee नहीं थी. China का माल है. कभी चलेगा, कभी ना चलेगा. So then my third venture that happened was Luxo Heritage Homes, which was a restoration project. So I
Got
bought an old heritage home, a Portuguese house in Goa, completely restored it, and we resold it. So in that project, I made some money. When I sold that, I made some money, which was helped me go to the next stage. So and then I wanted to do another real estate project. So although I knew that that was not my final calling, it is something that I'm doing because you have to keep doing and keep trying. I knew that I'm not yet got that real product, which I could take to the world. And then lockdown happened. And
Yeah.
lockdown happened, and I said, no, this is not the right time to do real estate. We don't know what the future holds. In the
Right.
first lockdown, first phase was very unpredictable. We didn't know what was happening. So I said, let's take a break. I had enough ammunition which I'd made from my previous business. So I said, let's take a break. Let's just think, ideate what next. And that's when I came across that article. And that whole thing then came about, and that funding came into Wakao. So I plowed everything from there into Wakao. So this is a self-funded thing completely from me. My family has no involvement. And I, because it was my money, I knew I could take the risk. I wanted to take that risk. I knew that this was something different. And yeah, that's when Wakao happened.
Awesome. I mean, that's a brilliant story to, see how the output of one venture actually ended up being the input for the other one, right?
And it's not, like you, it was a failed venture. It was a successful
Correct.
venture.
Correct.
But it was just not my calling.
Right.
पैसा बना उसमें, पर उसमें मजा मतलब उतना नहीं था in what I wanted to do.
Right. So, like again, the obvious next question then would be that A, how was the Shark Tank experience? And B, what has it been for you as a person, as an entrepreneur, and Wakao as a brand pre Shark Tank and post Shark Tank? Like how has that panned out?
So I keep saying this, this is a question which I keep saying that I have a life pre-Shark Tank and post-Shark Tank.
Right.
Life changed, man. Life changed. It absolutely changed overnight. We were just yesterday reminiscing those days, that day when the episode came, my phone didn't stop ringing, emails, orders, inquiries, congratulatory messages. It changed. So
Right.
what does, Shark Tank? People say a lot of things about Shark Tank, but what it does is only good. I'm immensely grateful to the platform because it suddenly took us from a small city in Goa to entire India.
Correct.
We got an audience, we got a platform which was in millions. Suddenly people had seen us, they knew what it was. The whole mock meat industry or the plant-based industry got such a boost. Because suddenly people realized कि ऐसी भी कोई चीज होती है.
Correct.
बना सकते हैं, कटहल से बना सकते हैं. People are astonished. क्योंकि like I said, कटहल तो सब लोगों ने खाया हुआ है. जैकफ्रूट खाते हैं लोग, but they couldn't imagine कि कोई इससे ऐसा कुछ बना रहा है. So it completely took us on a different level as far as orders. So sales तो बढ़े ही 100%, and that was always on the upper end. But more than the sales, the branding increased. We got more visibility.
Correct.
Quality inquiries. We got a lot of distribution inquiries, export inquiries, and it became a bit of acknowledgement that people now. It was like a stamp for us. Ki very reputed sharks live on air said that a product acha hai.
Correct.
So we got that kind of a thing also with us. So it completely changed. So for me personally, बचपन में हमेशा हम सोचते हैं ना कि वो कैसे होगा कि कोई फोटो खींचने को बोलेगा, कोई ऑटोग्राफ लेगा.
Right.
So it was that moment, people on airports, even today, people click pictures, people come to you and they say they're very inspired by you. I think for me that is the biggest thing. When someone says I'm inspired by you, a few people have come over and said we started our ventures because of you. So that's a feel good factor. You feel nice about it. For one month or so, we enjoy that whole thing is very nice. But then you quickly switch off, and you quickly realize कि boss, ये सब temporary है, ये सब आ रहा है because you've done something good till now, but the responsibility is much bigger now. And you need to really work hard to keep it consistent. So what we saw also after Shark Tank, what happened to us is that we worked a lot on our product.
Right.
And we were 8 months old, yeah, Samarth. We were like very new. And the
Hmm.
whole categories were so new. The customer expectations were something that we also didn't know. Because
Right.
even we were discovering कि लोगों को चाहिए क्या. So another thing that Shark Tank did for us was it gave us a huge bank of feedback, which
Hmm.
helped us. So we actually got a massive sample size of feedback. कि what is the median? लोग क्या कह रहे हैं, क्या पसंद आ रहा है, क्या नहीं पसंद आ रहा है, क्या improvements करने हैं.
Right.
Very critical feedback, some very nice feedback. We took all of that, assimilated that, and I really worked hard on the product.
Hmm.
Last 4 months, we were working tirelessly on the product. We've come up with some amazing products post that. So, if you ask me, the products that we had at the time Shark Tank came out
Yeah.
are completely different from what we have today.
Got it. Got it.
We've improved it, say, by 200%.
Hmm.
We've
Hmm. Hmm.
made major changes in our product line. And I have no harm in, I have no shame in saying that. And as an entrepreneur, I believe that feedback is the most important thing. And
Correct.
my packaging says new and improved. So we've gone all out to take, assimilate whatever we got and come up with a great product. So another thing that happened was ultimately I did not take that funding. So I
Oh,
don't know if you know that, but I came out of the show and we renegotiated. I wasn't very happy with the
the
offer
deal
that
term.
was
Yeah.
given, and I'm very grateful to all the sharks. I don't have even a inch of ungratefulness or anything to say to them negative. I just wasn't very happy with the deal, and I went and I told them, put it to them that we need to renegotiate and see how this can be done, and then we couldn't come to a middle point. And
Right.
we very in good terms, happily parted ways. I'm still in touch with all of them. They are very nice to me. Whenever we meet, they give me good advice. They're always there on a WhatsApp text message. I get a reply. So I am very grateful for what they said on the show because that really helped us. But today, I still own 100% of my company, and we are still bootstrapped, and will now be raising around.
Got
Uh,
it.
but you know what that helped me, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's building a startup in a very unique space, I just slowed down.
Hmm.
I just thought to myself, I said, I'm not in any rat race.
Right.
Let's get the product right. Let's live up to the expectations of people. Let's give them what they want. And
Hmm.
therefore, I took a step back and I said, no, let's do this in a proper manner. Let's not just run haywire, trying to attain targets, this, that. And we took it easy. We took it a little slower. And I believe that was the right thing to do. And today, the result is that now the product is being loved. Now we've
Right.
already exported to 3 countries. We've received, in fact, for the first official online platform or wherever that I'm saying that we've received our first order for Singapore. By
Hmm.
the end of this month, we'll be shipping to Singapore. We've received a container load order for USA that will go in next month. So now we realize that because we worked on our product, because we did all of those things, now it's all coming back together.
Yeah. So, just a follow-up question to this, right? Like in your introduction, you had spoken about mock meat and plant-based diet, as a new category or as a very niche category, right? So, given the boost that you got through the episode and your subsequent steps that got everything together, what do you think of this category for a market like India? Like, do you think that this is more from a category creation perspective, or how do you position it?
It's a category creation for sure. मेरा तो आई थिंक इज एन इनोवेशन. आई लाइक टू पुट इट दैट वे. जैकफ्रूट का ऐसा कोई कोई कौन सोचेगा कि जैकफ्रूट का सॉसेज बना सकते हैं.
Correct.
कौन सोचेगा. और दुनिया में किसी ने नहीं बना है.
Hmm.
We are India's 100% first jackfruit based sausage which is sold commercially.
Right.
And internationally, see, our sausages are ambient. They are
Got
not frozen. So internationally also no one does it. With a 1 year shelf life with no preservative. So
Hmm.
according to me, this is a category which is being built in
Right.
India. And it will take time. It is 100% a category of the future.
Got it.
If you ask me, after EV, it's going to be plant-based diets.
Right.
This category is going to grow and it's going to boom. Right now, it is a metro, tier 1, tier 2 kind of a category. Within the next few years, it's going to be a mass product.
Got it.
And therefore, it's going to take a little time. We are category creators right now. All the brands who are there right now, there'll be 100%, there'll be more brands coming in also, and more the better, because there's so much, to take from this category. We need more hands to educate. I
Right.
always say there are no competitors. I bumped into Genelia and Ritesh recently,
Yeah.
and I spoke to them, and I told them, see, people say that, "Arey, abhi film stars aaye hain, competitors." I said, "Nahi, acha hua. There are no competitors. They are all collaborators." Now,
Great.
when Salman Khan on Big Boss said कि ये Imagine Meat का ये देखो जो चिकन है पर वो वेज है, so suddenly the mass audience, millions of them realize that there is a concept of this, something like
Hmm.
this. So I say, superb. Let more people come. Let the education really happen, because it's a very big market. And internationally, it's a mature market. It's something that people have been eating for the last 10, 15 years. So the international market, the sky is the limit. There's so much that can be done there.
Right. So, just a question from a consumer perspective, right? So, for meat or plant-based meat as a product, right? I mean, who is the bigger TG over here? Is it a non-vegetarian who's trying to move to veganism or vegetarianism but does not want to give off the taste, or it's a vegetarian who wants the taste of how meat, that texture is there?
So Samarth, the answer is not very straightforward. It's a little complicated in the form that each one has a different reason for
Hmm.
turning vegan or for adopting a plant-based diet or to
Right.
move towards it. Now, when it comes to the vegans, let's go step by step. When it comes to vegans, they are waiting for products like us. They are waiting for new alternatives because no one's catering to them. It's a small population, so people don't care too much or don't think it's a very big market where they can make a lot of money. So they are our natural customers, and they appreciate brands like us that bring out such things.
Correct.
Next are your vegetarians. So for the vegetarians, it's sometimes a mental block.
Yeah.
Khana, it's not about even the taste. It's just the word meat or
Hmm.
just the word sausage. It's a mental block. So normally what we think is the younger generation is changing. So
Yeah.
they don't mind experimenting, tasting, and it's like how you're saying, they want to taste kya lagta hai
Correct.
without any guilt. But you can also, like, we meet the vegetarians mainly in the Horeca segment.
Hmm.
जहाँ वो कटहल बिरयानी खाते हैं. They're eating a jackfruit tostadas. They're eating a Wakao burger. So we are Wakao now. We are not saying we are some meat or something. We are Wakao.
Yeah.
Wakao can do anything. So then, but the biggest market are the non-vegetarians,
Hmm.
and that's number statistically that is proven. So what we say, people ask me, they say, why should I convert? Why should I change my diet or my preferences? What is the reason? I have no other. I say, see, it's not for any other reason, but now 1 day a week or 2 days a week, you want your gut to take a break, right? You want
Yeah.
to eat something healthy. So for us Hindus, we have this 1 day veg or 2 days veg. जहाँ
Correct.
पर veg कर दे. And I'm, if someone's hardcore non-vegetarian, पर उसको एक दिन veg झक मर के करना पड़ता है. तो उसको मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि तू उस दिन मेरा प्रोडक्ट खा,
Right.
ज्यादा मत खा, उसी एक दिन खा. I'm giving you something which is similar to what you would like eating.
Hmm.
Even if the non-vegetarian population eats my product on 1 day a week or 2 days a week, still that's a huge number.
Yeah.
So the whole idea here, if you have to build a big brand, it is to create a habit. So
Hmm.
right now we are not a habit. We are not a habit product. So what I'm saying is, you eat my sausages on a vegetarian day, suddenly you may like the taste so much that you'll say that, boss, ये healthy है, veg है, मैं यही non-veg दिन पे भी खाऊंगा ना, उसमें क्या है?
Hmm.
मैं 2 दिन खाऊंगा, फिर 3 दिन हो जाएगा. So it's a habit forming thing. But my plain thing here is, the day you feel you want to eat a little healthy or you want to eat something guilt free, you can have my product. I'm not being preachy. I'm not someone here to make a judgment on what you're doing. It's a simple thing that I'm telling you.
Got it. Got it. I think that's a very interesting take to it, wherein the product is getting utilized by various target segments in some way or the other.
That's how you're going to build the category.
Right.
You can't build this category by targeting just some people or trying to do picking things and trying to get it in this one's plate and that one's plate. That's not what happen. You have to make it a habit product. You have to make it a mass commercial brand that people across the board can like and have.
Right, right. So, Sairaj, one thing that you mentioned, right? Like you are going to soon be raising, right? So, from a team expansion POV and a team culture expansion POV, how or what principles are you having in mind to, take Wakao from, level 1 to say a level 10, wherein it becomes a national brand first and a global brand second?
See, my thing is very simple. I want to build one of India's best brands.
Correct.
And today we do Jackfruit. Today we are doing this format. Tomorrow we may do a lot of more things. So the one brand that I really look and idealize always is I really love that brand is Tata. So the whole idea here is to build a humane brand. It's to build a brand with colleagues and teammates who can actually enjoy the whole process.
Right.
Otherwise, it's pointless. Yeah, it's pointless. What are you going to do alone? You can't be a lone ranger. So Wakao is not Sairaj. Sairaj is not Wakao.
Correct.
I'm the custodian of this brand. There are so many more people who build this thing. There are so many people who work harder than me. And in the future also, as we build and as we grow, there'll be so many more people joining along and building. So for me, it's very clear. Even when I hire, the one thing that I look for is attitude.
Right.
Skill sets can be developed, man. I'm a lawyer. I did an electrical business. I did a real estate business. I did nothing in F&B. But you can always develop skill sets. What you need is an attitude, a never say die attitude. An attitude to build something. Never say no, ye mera kaam nahi, wo mera. Those kind of hustlers and fighters you need. So I always look at hiring entrepreneurs. I don't want to hire managers. There's no scope for managers in Wakao. Everyone has to be an entrepreneur. Anyone has to think like an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is I feel is an attitude more than anything. So when we build, now we are going to go in hyper expansion mode. Once we release, then it'll be really quick and we'll go to more geographies and we'll do more things. And that's when we want to really get good people on board. So most of our money that we raise will go into human resource.
Right.
Good people on board, into getting going to more geographies, and also into marketing and reaching the right places to market. So even with marketing, I have my own funders. I've realized a lot of things over the last 2 years. Yeah.
So, just two follow-up questions to this, right? When you say that you're going to expand, are you still going to operate out of Goa, or there will be other regional offices? And B, if you could give some of your marketing funders to the audience that we have here.
So your first question is non-negotiable.
Okay.
The headquarters of Wakao Foods is never going to move out of Goa.
Got it.
I'm going to remain in Goa always. I'm going to live all my life in Goa. I'm not going to move from here. Yes, we will have regional offices as and when required in different metros, maybe Bombay first, because I see a lot of our big customers based out of Bombay.
Correct.
We may move out there. We'll have people working from all over, but we'll be headquartered in Goa because there's no other place in the world like Goa. And the work-life balance is just amazing here. And we all love living here and working from here. The second question is my marketing funders. So I believe, we did everything. At an early stage, I burned my own money. It was not VC money or anyone's money. I burned my own hard-earned money in performance marketing and in spends and burning on ads on Facebook and Instagram and here and there. One thing I realized, with inorganic growth, you can get a top line.
Yeah.
There's no bottom line. There's no conceptually a bottom line in inorganic growth when you're burning and all. It's very difficult. You don't. However big or however whatever it may be, you will never make a profit over there. And I, for one, my whole core foundation and funda of doing this business, because I come from very traditional businesses also, so profitability is important.
Right.
अंत में वही question आता है कि यार कितना बना.
Correct.
Because I'm built that way. I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur. We have hotels, we have real estate, we have petrol pumps. So I'm built that way. My whole mechanism works that way. I don't like that funda of just burning and growing. So the whole marketing angle in our company has moved to content. I feel content is king. And
Hmm.
in the coming future, it's all going to be about the content that you come out. It's
Yeah.
how you interact with your consumer, how you touch that nerve of that consumer and make him your fan, or make him feel like this is my brand. That
Right.
is the aim, and that is what I want. I want every Indian to feel that Wakao is their brand.
Hmm.
A brand that you feel very close to your heart. Like when people go to Dubai or somewhere, they click a picture of Wakao on the stands in Carrefour, and when they send it, that's an amazing feeling. That feels so nice. And when they post it, they say our Indian brand, Goan brand in Dubai. So those are the moments you really live and work for. So for me, that's the most important funda. We are working very hard to create a very strong organic consumer base and organic growth base. Even with how we are going in the Horeca segment and all is a very different angle that I'm taking. I really want to do one thing, and that I don't know if I'll be able to do it anytime soon, because there are a lot of contradicting views on it. And I have my very strong views is to start my own QSR brand, and we're going to call it Wakao Eats. I know everything, what I'm going to call it, how it's going to look, but I'm just waiting for the right time. कि कब शुरू करें, कैसे करें, because there are too many things happening. We are doing so many things. So we have to take it step by step. But we are approaching Horeca in a different way. We are trying to
Hmm.
brand with Horeca. Brand building is a whole different game.
Game. Yeah.
And I think that is something that Wakao has mastered or is good at. Today, we try to build a brand. At the end of the day, people resonate with brands and how
Right.
you build them. And then you have to live up to that brand. You build a brand, take it to a certain level, then you need to live up to it. And
Correct.
that is the whole crux of the game. If you make an honest effort with your product and your marketing and branding will work. Otherwise, it will not. You can try as hard as possible. If your product is weak, someday you're going to be called out.
Yeah.
So that's a balance that we're trying to have. And so also when it comes to offline marketing or retail marketing, it's a very, very expensive game.
Yeah.
Going into all your modern trade and all, very expensive. So we are going through very strategic partners like Cred, Big Basket, Blinkit. So we're seeing how we can explore that because the TG is right. It
Yeah.
is a perfect TG for us. With all these people, it's the perfect TG. It's about how we present ourselves and how we can market on that platform and how much we can associate with them to really collaborate to do a good job.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
that's how we are trying to do this.
Awesome. I think that's a very different take, in terms of how you are using existing big brands to market your product on top of that, right? In the offline segment. So just one very interesting follow-up to the Goa part, right? Like, how do you characterize the entire startup ecosystem of Goa? And, what are those few things which are quintessential to the success of the startup ecosystem of Goa, which not many people talk about in general?
So I think the startup ecosystem is exploding in Goa.
Right.
It's right at that tipping point, it's now going to, it's superb. Because I'll tell you why. One is your work-life balance is so beautiful here. मतलब आप घंटों traffic में तो नहीं रहते.
100%.
Reach your home. Now everyone on an average leaves office at 7 o'clock, 6:37 तक निकलते ही है. पर मैं 10 मिनट में घर पहुंचता हूँ. जबकि मेट्रोज में लोगों को घंटे लगते हैं ना. एंड व्हाट हैज चेंज्ड टुडे इज दैट एवरीथिंग हैपेंस ऑनलाइन. Otherwise we would have been sitting with each other and chatting if this was 2 years ago.
Right.
This would never be possible.
Correct.
Today I work with 5 agencies from across the country. Okay, I was on a call in the afternoon with my Singapore distributor doing final negotiations and talking. It's become so easy. So how does it matter where I'm sitting now? Getting great talent, a good talent, experienced talent is difficult in Goa. For that, you need to get them to Goa, or you can work remotely.
Right.
If that need is not there.
Right.
That's another thing. So life has become so much easier and accessible that you can do then. Today, Bombay is a 1 hour flight away. Also, if you're living here, how does it matter? Anyway, you meet someone only over weekend or once a month, you'll go out. वो वैसे भी कर सकते हो. Whereas in Goa, like every evening you can meet someone.
Correct.
And be relaxed and go to your gym, enjoy, have a drive, spend time with your family, with your kids. So that is one reason why Goa has become such a sought after destination, because it's relaxed, it's nice. The people here are nice. The property prices are much lower than
Right.
any. These are like practical things. Why people would want to come here? What you would get in Bombay in one small apartment or a one room place, here you can get a nice small villa
Correct.
at the same price, to stay and live a nice life. So there are a lot of advantages of living here, and why this is so sought after and why people like this here. Because now people have also realized after COVID, कितना भागोगे लाइफ में, भाग भाग के करना क्या है, अगर जिंदगी जीने ही नहीं मिलेगी तो what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You need to enjoy the small moments. Like I love cricket, man. For me, honestly, December, January, February, every Sunday and a lot of Saturdays, I'm playing matches.
Right.
Would this be possible anywhere else? But in
Now,
Goa, it is possible. And those are my days. And I can do what I want to do. And I can play cricket, so much of cricket, which otherwise would not have been possible. So I'm
correct.
also living my passions. I'm living my things that I want to do. So I think because of all of these reasons, it's people are shifting here because people are realizing the importance of time here. How much time do we have? If we can't make the most of the time that we have and utilize it and enjoy it with our family, loved ones, फिर क्या फायदा इतना बड़ा कंपनी बना के?
I think that's a very great take to the entire Goa narrative. I mean, not many people would have thought about it from the lens that you have looked at. So, Sairaj, just now, moving towards the conclusive ends of our conversation, this is a question that we generally ask most of our guests who are here. And there are two questions which are very subjective, qualitative from our end. Is A, any podcasts or newsletters or some TV show or movie that would have inspired you in building your four ventures or developing you as an individual? And the second question, again very relative, is what essentially would be financial freedom according to you, right? So these two questions and we close.
So honestly, I'm not a voracious reader. And
Right.
I'm not very proud of that. Let me put that also. So I love to hear a lot of entrepreneurs. So I love to hear these podcasts that happen. Nothing in specific as such, but I like to hear a lot of what Ankur Varipu says, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of D2C insights from various people from the whole D2C community. Aman says a lot of interesting things in a very fun way. So you get to learn a lot of things from them. A lot of seasoned entrepreneurs who are telling their stories. I keep listening to those things. So anything entrepreneurial, it need not be like, I'm immensely inspired by Shah Rukh Khan.
Right.
So he's an entrepreneur also, but he's first showman.
Showman.
But according to me, I feel he's the biggest brand in the country.
Correct.
And built it from nothing, from zero. So, I'm inspired immensely by him. I feel like the way he said one day standing on Marine Drive, I'm going to own by one day. And, it's over the top, but it's so inspiring and it makes you feel so nice about it. Then someone like a Ratan Tata.
Yes.
He's just someone who gives me goosebumps. I love that guy. I want to meet him someday in my life. I don't know who can help me meet him, but I want to meet him. So, this kind of people, someone like a Ambani, Mukesh Ambani also, the scale at which they do businesses, the way they've grown and the way they have seen the economy grow. So I just love reading and hearing about this guy. So honestly, I don't have even names, but when you're scrolling today, the things have become, stories have become so tantalizing, and all these the shots that come. So I keep going, and then you get related stuff. You get stuff which is similar to what you watch. So I see a lot of that, and I like reading sometimes a lot of biographies about people who have not specific books, but you'll see something somewhere, some article which comes and all. But I like to read about that and understand what's happening. So yeah, so this is my basic thing. I'm a more of an instant reader.
Right.
Things on social media and here and there, and I'm being very honest about that. I have a lot of books, but unfortunately I can't get myself to sit and read them. I try to, but yeah. So and as far as financial freedom is concerned, like you said, it's subjective. To each one, it's something different. For me, it is. So I have certain dreams. I
Right.
have certain things that I want to do in life, and when I can do that, uh, I would say it is financial freedom. If I want to buy certain cars, and I
Right.
I don't care what anyone says or what anyone feels, but I have certain dreams. Like I
Yeah,
want
it's
to have,
subjective for everyone.
yeah, like I want to have those cars. I just love Ferrari as a brand. I want to own a Ferrari.
Right.
I love Rolls Royce. I want to own a Rolls Royce. It's like that. But today, as an entrepreneur, if you ask me what is financial freedom for you today, and when I sit here in my office as an entrepreneur, as a founder, I say, boss, at the first week of the month, if I can pay all my employees
Right.
on time without delaying it. So 10th is the day we pay, which we did this month. Last month we got a little delayed. This month we did. So today, for me, if you ask me, that is my financial freedom. That
Correct.
I can make things because an entrepreneur's life is difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And liquidity is like gold. You can have everything. You can have the greatest of orders, the greatest of traction, idhar, udhar, wahan, yeah. But it's something that you want. If you can have liquidity at any given point of time in your venture, that's financial freedom. And
Yeah.
today I'm doing all of this bootstrapped with my own money, my own savings, my own things. So that gives me even more happiness and tensions also कि मुझे ही करना है किधर से भी वो मुझे ही करना है कोई
Right.
भी नहीं कोई फंडिंग करने वाला नहीं है जिसके पास में जाके बोलो बॉस खत्म हो गया और चाहिए वो कुछ नहीं है अभी तक so we are building something from scratch by ourselves so that's a little more that keeps you on tender hooks always so yeah so right now financial freedom is also that.
So I think, Sairaj, that was a very interesting take. Like we've recorded 15 episodes and this one being the 16th, we've not had anyone who's come up and given this angle of financial freedom wherein for them, giving or having the salaries reach to employee is one angle of financial freedom, right? But again, thank you so much for doing this episode, Sairaj. I think this is going to be a one-on-one sort of a thing for people who want to start up in the mock meat segment and startup ecosystem in Goa in general. So again, thank you so much, Sairaj, for doing
Pleasure.
it with us.
Pleasure. I had a good time. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Sairaj.
Thank you.